WrestleMania is where everything is supposed to click. The stories peak, the matches deliver, and even the mid-card feels important. That's the expectation. So when a match completely misses on this stage, it stands out way more than it would anywhere else. I'm Danny from Pin Drop Wrestling, and these are the matches that didn't just underdeliver. They left a mark for the wrong reasons. At number 10, Brock Lesnar versus Dean Ambrose at WrestleMania 32. This one still feels like a broken promise. The entire build teased something violent and chaotic. You're expecting a street fight that spirals out of control. Instead, the match plays out like a controlled exhibition. Lesnar hits his usual sequence. Ambrose gets cut off almost every time he tries to build momentum, and the weapons never feel like they matter. There's a moment where Ambrose has a pile of chairs set up, and nothing comes from it. That's the match in a nutshell. Set up with no payoff. It's not just a bad match, it's a missed opportunity that fans still talk about. Number 9. Diesel versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 11 for the WWE Championship. This is a main event that feels like it's happening in slow motion. The biggest issue is the crowd. They're quiet, and not in a waiting for the big moment way. They just never fully engage. Shawn Michaels is doing everything he can. He's bumping, selling, flying around, trying to create some kind of spark. But Diesel's offense is methodical and drawn out, and the pacing never really shifts gears. Even the big spots don't land the way they should because there's no energy feeding into them. For a WrestleMania main event, that's the worst thing you can have. A match that never feels big. Number 8. Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship at WrestleMania 34. This is what happens when repetition replaces storytelling. At first, the idea works. Roman survives an F5, and that's supposed to show resilience. It's a big moment, but then it happens again, and again, and again. Instead of escalating, the match loops. The crowd starts reacting less with each kickout. You can feel the disbelief turn into frustration, then into boredom. Even when Roman is busted open, which should add urgency and drama, it doesn't land the way it should because the audience is already disengaged. It's a main event that loses the crowd in real time and never gets them back. Number 7. Jay versus Jimmy Uso at WrestleMania 40. This one is all about missed potential. The story had everything. Twin brothers, years of history, and the fallout from the Bloodline story. It felt like it should have been one of the most emotional matches on the entire show. But once it starts, it never really reaches that level. The pacing feels slower than it should, and the intensity just isn't there. You're expecting a fight that's personal, but it comes off more like a standard match. Then there's the repetition. The super kicks start to pile up, and instead of adding drama, they lose impact the more you see them. There are moments where it feels like it might pick up, like it's about to shift into that next gear, but it never fully commits. And you can feel the crowd waiting for that moment too. For a match built on so much history, it ends up feeling surprisingly flat when it mattered most. Number 6. The Fatal 4-Way main event at WrestleMania 2000. This match has everything, and that's the problem. 4 top stars: Triple H, Big Show, The Rock, and Mick Foley in a WrestleMania main event. The stakes are high. But instead of letting those elements shine, the match gets buried under layers of interference and storytelling that distract from the action. Every corner has a McMahon. Every few moments, there's another interruption, another distraction, another shift in focus. You never get into a rhythm because the match keeps getting pulled in different directions. By the end, it doesn't feel like a wrestling match. It feels like a storyline playing out with wrestling happening in the background. Number 5. Bret Hart versus Vince McMahon at WrestleMania 26. This is a match built entirely on emotion, but stretched far beyond what it needed to be. The story is powerful. Fans had waited years to see Bret Hart get his hands on Vince McMahon. That alone should have carried the moment. But instead of keeping it simple, the match gets overloaded. Vince stalls a lot. There's interference, weapons, outside involvement, and long pauses where nothing really happens. Bret gets his revenge, but it takes so long to get there that the impact starts to fade. What should have been a sharp, satisfying payoff turns into something drawn out and heavy. Number 4. Goldberg versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 20. Okay, we're not picking on Brock, but this match is a perfect storm of bad timing and crowd awareness. Before the bell even rings, the fans know both guys are leaving WWE, and they're not happy about it. So instead of reacting to the match, they reject it. Every lockup gets booed. Every pause gets louder. Deafening chants of "you sold out," singing goodbye, and middle fingers directed at both men flooded Madison Square Garden. The longer it goes, the more uncomfortable it becomes. You can actually see both Goldberg and Lesnar adjusting, trying to work around the crowd, but nothing works. Even Stone Cold's involvement at the end gets a bigger reaction than anything in the match itself. It's not just bad, it's hostile. Number 3. John Cena versus The Miz for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 27. This is another WrestleMania main event that doesn't feel like one. The build is overshadowed by The Rock, who's clearly the real focus heading into the next year. That alone already hurts the match's importance. Then, the match itself just drags. The pacing is slow, the crowd isn't fully engaged, and it never reaches that big match intensity you expect. And the finish? Double countout, restart, Rock interference. Instead of delivering a clear, satisfying conclusion, it feels like everything is just setting up something else. For a WrestleMania main event, that's a huge miss. Number 2. The Undertaker versus Giant Gonzalez at WrestleMania 9. This is what happens when a match simply doesn't function. Giant Gonzalez has the size, but almost none of the mobility needed to make the match flow. Every movement feels delayed, every strike looks unnatural, and nothing connects smoothly. The Undertaker is clearly trying to guide the match, but there's only so much he can do. There's no rhythm, no build-up, no real sense of progression. It just moves from one awkward moment to the next, and then the chloroform finish at WrestleMania. It's not just a bad match, it's one of the most bizarre decisions ever made on that stage. And at number 1, Jerry Lawler versus Michael Cole at WrestleMania 27. This is the perfect example of how to ruin a great idea. The build was excellent. Michael Cole had real heat, and fans were ready to see him get destroyed. All you had to do was deliver that payoff. Instead, the match gets stretched to nearly 15 minutes and packed with unnecessary elements. Jack Swagger interferes. The referee gets distracted. There are constant pauses, resets, and interruptions that kill any momentum. The crowd starts loud and invested, and slowly fades as the match drags on. And then, after all that, the result gets reversed. So you sit through a long, overbooked match, and don't even get the payoff you were waiting for. That's what makes it the worst. And that's the list. And this is one of those topics where everyone's got that one match they can't stand. The one that made you question how it even made it onto WrestleMania. Drop it in the comments. I want to see your picks. And seriously, if you're enjoying the content, hit like and subscribe. It genuinely helps more than you think. We're a small channel trying to grow and improve with every video, and every bit of support pushes us closer to that goal. We're aiming for 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and if you're here right now, you're part of that journey early. We appreciate you, and I'll catch you in the next one.